Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. You'll notice it's just me for right now, but I have to tell you guys I have a very special guest for you. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to be bringing my friend Ben White on to talk today about whether you should invest or whether you should pay down debt, and sort of the conversations that should be had between you and your significant other, or just some things you need to think through if you're on your own before you make a decision on whether you should invest or you should pay down your debt. Now, a real quick update on me personally. Today was my first day back to work since my furlough. The furlough was bittersweet. It was sweet because I got some time off. It was a little bitter because I didn't get paid for that time off, but it was nice to have some time off to be able to, I got some work done as far as cleaning up the garage. I worked on some personal development stuff, and I got to play some video games as well. So it was pretty nice. I believe I'd only taken one other day off so far this year, and so it was nice to have that little bit of extra time to relax. For my guest today, like I said before, this is my friend Ben. I've known him since middle school. We actually became really good friends starting in high school because we both run the track and cross country teams together. And we've continued to stay in touch over the years. I asked Ben to join me today because I know that I can talk to Ben about a whole bunch of tricky topics, and we always seem to have a productive conversation that comes out of those. Over the past several years, since we've moved apart, we've discussed things like religion, politics, finances, video games, you name it, we've probably talked about it. And even though we have differing opinions on a lot of those topics, I've always admired how we get along so well, and we can always have a good conversation and feel like we've gained something from that conversation. So without further ado, let's get into the interview with Ben. All right, so I want to interview my good friend Ben. And so Ben, if you would please just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I work in analytics. Had a couple jobs now doing that. I basically function as an internal consultant, helping businesses strategize their business goals. My education is, I have a background in econ and math. I have a master's in economics. My debt status is it's mostly paid off, and that's about it in a nutshell.
Yeah, you just recently got a job at Amazon, right? Like within, how long has it been now?
It's been probably just over 3 months.
Okay.
So relocated across the country. I was in Boston first. Now I'm in Seattle. So
How's it going?
pretty good.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I know you didn't have a crystal ball, but the fact that you hitched your wagon to Amazon at this time, pretty good call.
Yeah, it's definitely good. I definitely have a high amount of job security working for a large online realtor. That has been very handy, and I got very lucky about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Congrats on that again, by the way. That's awesome. So if you would just tell us, you and I have been talking about our finances for a little while now, but if you would just, what are some of your financial goals for the next 5 years or so?
Probably try to get my retirement in a good place. I've prioritized paying down my high interest student debt. For anybody that doesn't know, graduate loans have higher interest rates than undergrad loans, so I had to get those down on top of being very expensive. So I think trying to catch up for that, and then maybe work on a down payment for a house or something. I've always been a renter, but it would be nice to own my own place, and I think save a little bit of money too.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually about graduate loans. That's kind of surprising.
I think it's seen as it's not as many people go to graduate school, and they're usually more privileged, so Congress sets them higher rates.
What about your ultimate financial goals? I know you're pretty retirement focused right now. Would you say that that's your main focus?
I would say that that's probably my main focus, my most important focus. I would like to open my own analytics company someday. I would like to get my retirement sort of handled and then do that. So that way I have a fallback. I can be like, well, that didn't work. The company went bankrupt, but I can still retire. So I would like to get that set up before I do that. As such, I tend to take a little bit more aggressive financial risks than I think some people might. I also am currently single, don't got kids, don't got houses, so I can do that a little bit easier.
That's very cool, though. I know we had talked a little bit about that. I hope you get a chance to do that, though. That sounds really cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Got ideas, want to do them, but we gotta iron out some stuff first. And by some stuff, I mean a lot.
Sure, I know how that goes. I guess what I want to know is what sort of investment are we talking about here, just for people that might not know, the basics.
Gotcha. What I do is I make sure that I save in certain tax advantaged accounts. So you only pay taxes on them one time, either when you take them out or when you put them in. There are a couple different ones. The idea for this is if you put them in just an ordinary investment account without any type of special limit, you pay taxes on them every year. And I put them in index funds. I use stock index funds right now because I think that the stock market is sort of undervalued due to the corona crisis. I recommend index funds. The reason why I say that is it sort of indexes the market, so to speak. So if you take put $100 in, it takes that $100 and distributes it completely evenly with the stock market. So you don't have any of your eggs in one basket. And the only way you can lose all $100 is if the entire stock market becomes worth $0. It also is much cheaper to do. Any computer can do it easily versus having an experienced financial person sort of try to make judgment calls. So it tends to outperform in that regard as well.
Now, let's kind of get into the main conversation, which is, should you invest or should you pay down debt? Sort of the pros and cons to each. We've talked about this before, so I know where you land, but why don't you say which one you're focused on and why that is?
Gotcha. So I should also say that I'm not an official financial advisor or anything like that. So I am not legally liable for any of these things. These are just what I find works for me, including my previous investment statement.
Absolutely.
But I paid down my high interest loans, and then I'm investing in sort of ignoring my student loans and only paying the minimums on that. The reason for that is my student loans are relatively low. They're about 3% nominal interest. After inflation, that's about probably 1% or so. While the stock market gets about 7% real returns. So that's 7 minus 1 is 6%. A good rule of thumb for understanding interest rates, because I have trouble with that, is if you divide 72 by the interest rate you're getting, that's about how long it takes to double in years. So 72 divided by 6 means it's going to double a little bit over every probably like 12 years or so. So that's much better in terms of like building wealth. You do want to consider your own risks and also want to consider your own sort of tolerance for risk. Having a secure job at Amazon, being young, being relatively healthy, only needing to feed myself, I can take some risks that I can see other people might not want or even might not be happy taking. Like if you're going to lose sleep over it, I don't think that's worth it. And I also think it's worth considering happiness now versus happiness in the future. You don't want to be miserable now to be happier 40 years down the line.
This is where I sort of wanted to have a discussion a little bit. So Ben's more focused on the retirement aspect of things, and Mary and I have right now at least been focused on paying down debts. And the reason why we've focused on that, because everything Ben is saying makes sense. I think if you want to build wealth faster, it makes a lot more sense that you invest that money. And Mary and I, this is one thing that I've definitely battled with a little bit internally in trying to decide, like, do I invest? Do I pay down debt? And sort of what I landed on for us was that paying down debt is a guaranteed rate of return. It's not a very high one, but you're guaranteed. Like my interest rate on our earnest loan that we just refinanced is 3.8%, which is lower than what you're getting on your investments. But I am still saving some money by doing that. Whereas when I look at my 401k for this year is currently down 15%. So I'm getting a guaranteed 3 versus a loss of 15. So that one in this type of climate makes sense, at least a little bit. And then the other thing that I land on is that we have a lot of debt, and if we continued paying it off at minimum, it would take us a long time. And there's no guarantee. I mean, that we live in a crazy world. There's no guarantee that I'll live to be able to enjoy my retirement. My hope is to get that debt off, and I'm still saving for retirement. I put in, a couple percent, 5% of my income goes to retirement, my 401k. So I'm trying to do a little bit of both, but definitely more focused on paying down debt.
I think that makes sense. I think it's worth saying that there's really no hard and fast rules here. It's just whatever you think accomplishes your goals.
I guess we already talked about my next question. My next question was, why would anyone invest their money while only paying the minimum? But yeah, we covered that in just saying that your investments will outpace what you would save by paying down your debts. I guess this is kind of an interesting question in that, is there a one size fits all? If somebody were to put money towards investments and smart investments, is that always going to be a better benefit to them, do you think? And just in your opinion?
No, I don't believe in hard and fast rules, one size fits all. Really, with anything like this, how to spend your money, I don't think that is. So, no. You could probably find extremely unrealistic cases where it doesn't make sense to do one. If you have high interest credit card rates, say 25%, and you're investing in the stock market, that probably doesn't make sense. Similarly, if you're like trying to save like a teeny tiny percentage, like 0.001%, as opposed to investing in the stock market, that doesn't make sense. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule. If there is, it's going to be at prioritizing really high debt. I didn't think about that when I said that, but I think like credit card debt, you'd want to like, that could be like 25%. You'd want to pay that down before you'd invest anything. And I also think the peace of mind and certainty is worth considering as well.
Well, that's pretty much all I had for my questions on this. Did you have anything else you think that's worth adding? Not to put you on the spot.
I think it's worth a little bit. I know I mentioned this a little bit. It's worth thinking about if you're interested in investing. This could be its own, gets really complex, both picking how to time it, like when you're going to retire, and then thinking about how much to save in pre and post tax. But you basically think about if you pay higher taxes now versus higher taxes when you're retired, and make decisions on that. If the tax rate is the same now versus when you retire, the financial amount just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one you choose, just as a reference point. But that's all I can think of, and that might be more information than anyone wants if they're just trying to figure out, do I save or do I pay down debt? But that's, I mean, I said I was an analytics person. That means I'm a nerd and I give too much details. So I don't know what else to say.
All right. Well, Ben, it was awesome to have this interview with you. I really appreciate you taking out time. I know it's a busy time for you. And so I appreciate you spending this time. We talk about all sorts of topics, and I know that sort of we've not really found anything that's off limits yet for us. So I always appreciate the conversation, the openness.
Happy to be here. Happy to see your YouTube videos. My phone auto tags them when you post it. It's like, you want to watch this? And I'm like, you know me well, phone.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
It does. It like notifies me. It's like, hey, Nick made a video. I was like, well, gotta watch it even though I'm in a meeting right now, right? I don't actually do that. If my boss is watching me, I don't actually do that. I wait till I'm done.
Well, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so hopefully that interview was really helpful for you if you've been considering investing or paying down debt. Hopefully that gave you a few things to think about before you make a decision on that. Now's the part of the episode where I'm going to update you on April and summarize how our month went for us. Keep in mind, my furlough has not yet affected my finances, and so what you're going to see on the next screen is still untouched by the furlough. I just want to start by saying that I made this a little bit more simple in that I'm not going to specify a difference between a strict budget leftover and the extras that we pay into. It's just a little bit too complicated. So from now on, you're just going to see our minimum payments coupled with our extra payments, and then a total for the month and a total for the year. So here we go. Our minimum payments with the COVID-19 going on right now and having the government loans be put on pause, our minimum payments are just our earnest loan, which is $1,735.75. That's going to be the case throughout September. We added an extra $2,661.91 because this was a month in which Mary received 3 paychecks, which brings our total for the month up to $4,397.66. And our yearly total up to $17,529.02. If you're following along at home, that puts us 35% of the way to our yearly goal of $50,000. While I'm extremely excited that we're still on track at this point in time, we now know that my pay in May will be affected due to my furlough, And so that's going to make things a little bit more tricky and a little bit more uncertain in the following months. But we're still keeping our goal of 50,000. We're still on pace to hit that goal so far. So we're just hoping that things will level soon and we can continue working. We're still going to keep fighting towards that 50,000. All right, and that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about any of the information we covered, you can always reach out to us via email. Our email is down below, or if you leave us a comment, we'll be glad to answer that for you. Further, if you have any ideas and things that you'd like to bring up to us, maybe even come on to an episode with us, please let us know. I'd be more than happy to see if I can work you in. But until next time, I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great couple of weeks. See ya.
Thanks for watching. We post videos on the 1st and 15th of every month.